The forecast.
I'll wait for the advertisement. Well. After 4 days of boredom, I'm sure 95% could actually say that, we are here for the final episode, The Road to the Undisputed Atomweight Championship. Technically, what I'm actually doing right now, as we're speaking, I'm actually watching a little bit of a fun YouTube video of some people and just watching a great episode from a YouTube channel called Adam Swords, who's recorded a 4th of July video in the lake of Havasu is wild. Lake Havasu. I've never heard of that place before. Maybe I have. It's just don't know what the city is called again. Yeah, beautiful women, everything else. It's a place I want to go. Just to let you people know, I never went to celebrate the 4th of July. I decided to, I think it was just best for me to stay home and just think about other stuff I'm trying to plan for, but it's great. By the way, it's actually crazy. I might as well have to tell people the truth about this before something controversial happens. One time, about a few weeks ago or something, like when I went to, I was actually at I don't know what the beach was called. Forgot. I was out west to a beach that was okay. I just started filming I was just filming videos for content, trying to come back, doing my other Fox Wolf YouTube channel and just recording wholesome stuff. And then a random police officer said I wasn't allowed to record. And there's like women in bikinis and thongs going on. And I promised not to do it again. And I just left without argument. But I did say to myself that if something ever happens like that again, I'm not going to hesitate to argue, because if people on YouTube are recording these videos, then why should I? So I was really an upset person, and it still upsets me that these people can get away with filming this stuff. This is public stuff. If people are in public doing that, then why not film? I'm not going to promise to film inappropriate stuff. I'm just trying to film something for content wise that I'm okay with, and I like this type of stuff, and I don't want to record content like this forever. But again, the reason I'm recording this content is I'm trying to get exposure for YouTubers like Counterpunch Boxing and others, so I can be involved with the Ring Magazine and be on YouTube with Rummy's Corner and other people to get talked about. So that's the reason why I'm doing this content, to get attention. I'm still trying to find information and because I actually did try to get a Zoom call meeting for Counterpunch Boxing, but nothing has come of since. Okay, so when we talk about boxing, you have to talk about the other championship belts. So the Atomweight division has little to nothing about nothing. We talked about the WBC belt. We talked about the WBA. We talked about the IBF. We talked about the WBO. And of course, you're probably wondering, what about the Ring Magazine belt? Well, I might as well look up the Ring Magazine belt right now. Let me click out of these other list of champions. I had to double check if everything was right here about all the champions. So if I had to look up women's boxing for the Ring Magazine female champions, it does show November the 23rd, 2024, that Tina Ruperchet defeated Iri Matsuda, not just for the other belts, but for the inaugural belt for the Ring Magazine Championship. And I'm going to assume the lineal weight belt was also on the line that same night, so it was the first time for everyone. So yeah, that's the only belt that Japanese women have never won since. So we do have a championship for Ring Magazine and such, because it was an undisputed belt at the first place. But all in all, the real champion was a lot different. I will say though, Tina Ruperchet, here's the thing. When looking up on the WBC ratings and the ratings on BoxRec were different. So Momo Kasuki is considered as the number two greatest atomweight champion, with Tina Ruperchet being the number one greatest atomweight, which is weird because Tina Ruperchet only had a few fights in her career. Her win against Fabiana was lucked on Depend.
Resume.
Sorry. Her win was just on the luck format in the entire time because of it. And here's the thing. Momo Koseki put in a lot of more professional into herself by winning champions and winning so many fights in her career. Why would you not keep her at number one? It's weird. And there's also a Mexican woman that's still active right now in boxing as number one, and she's in the number three of all time greats. And Momo is number two, and Tina Ruperchet's number one. And Tina Ruperchet has had fights in minimum weight more than she's ever had until she lost against Estrada in 2022. She fights in January 2024, squeaks out an easy win against Fabiana, winning 7 rounds to 3 by two judges in an 8-2. And then she barely manages to handle herself together on Iri Matsuda to win the fight. If it wasn't for the first round knockout, it would have been different. And then she got a fluke win for the undisputed belt on April the 5th against Samira Yamanaka. So, which was also a title defense for all the belts, including the Ring Magazine. So I really can't say for certain why I would ever say to myself, all of this should be legit. But again, I'm not going forward because Tina Ruperchet's wins were legit because all of her fights happen in Germany, except her defeat against Senicia Estrada took place in America. So I think it just goes to show you that's how hard it is to be a woman in boxing for champs when things like that happen. You can win in your country, but you can't win in anywhere else. So that is the most unluckiest thing I can ever say about women's boxing in these lower weight classes is that if you can't fight in your own country, you're not going to win. And if you fight the best you've ever could in someone else's country, you might come back home empty-handed. So that right there does say a lot for how you have to be really serious in boxing if you're not going to take this serious. It's really tough. It really is. It's really tough because I don't know how to explain it in the words, but again, when I look at all this and say to myself, how did we get here? We didn't get here easily because the atomweight division only finally had an undisputed championship after 18 years when it was the inaugural belt, which is pretty rich to say because the cruiserweight division never started their first champion until 1979. And when Evander Holyfield started winning belts after belts until April the 8th, 1988, he became undisputed champion and took the victory against Carlos de Leon for undisputed in the cruiserweight. That took them less than just about under 9 years. If you're counting the years, it took them 9 years to get a cruiserweight undisputed champion. But from 1979, there were only 2 out belts until 83, and then the IBF belt came in 83 and bothered all of that. They finally got a unified champ for Holyfield in 87, and a year later, he becomes undisputed after 9 years when it was major. So that right there is different. But keep this in mind, in 2007, when the atomweight division was a thing, this was the moment when the WBO finally became a major belt in the men's boxing world, and female boxing was still a 2-division champ for WBA and WBC. 2009, again, WBO and IBF in 2010. So it wasn't rich to say that for certain, but you can tell that there's a lot of opportunities to try to look for. And I say to myself, this was like an opportunity to not be missed out because This is some historical moments in boxing that we should never forget. Okay, so considering we only have 30 minutes left of this episode, and I'm only going to get to 40 minutes because I think it's more comfortable for me. But here's the information I do want to talk about, and that is the entirety champions of the Atomweight division. So now, considering we managed to talk forward and talk about the major belts, let's talk about the minor weight belts. So what about the WIBF belt? The WIBF belt has no champions whatsoever for women's boxing. They don't have it, and it's not existed. They don't have an Atomweight champion for women's boxing. And if I had to quicken the international women's championship of the women's IBF, no, the International Women's Boxing Federation, I'll just type that in, and if I know how to type it in quickly, that's not how I did it. Okay, so IWBF is what it's called. No, it's not that, is it? I'm trying to find it. The IWBF. Oh, IWBF. Where are you, IWBF? WIBF. I saw the WIBA. I'll click on that in a moment because I know that exists, but WIBF. WIBF. Okay, here it is. WIBF, nothing. Okay, so what about the International Women's Boxing? Okay, the IWBF. The IWBF. I'm trying to find the IWBF. International Women's Boxing. Is there anything here? What is going on? International woman. Okay, I gotta find something here. Oh my gosh, I'm lost. Where am I going? Where is the internet? I know there's an oh my god. No, International Women's Boxing. I give up. This is ridiculous. Okay, I guess that belt doesn't exist. Well, it does, but I just can't find it. I'm done for. Okay, so what about the other belts? How about the WBF World Boxing Foundation belt? Nope, nothing there. Okay. How about the the IBO belt? Is the IBO belt still active? Okay, so here's the thing. I actually sent out some information in September that the IBO and the WIBA was on the line, and I might as well quick for the WIBA as we're at it. So the WIBA belt, which used to be major but not anymore, it's minor, is now being held differently. So in May the 30th, 2024, a woman with an 8-round bout from the country of Thailand, which we have talked about before, goes by the name of Norj Guro from the Philippines. Now, she was the same woman we talked about when she took on against Nao Akiyama for the WBO Atomweight Championship back in 2015 and had other fights in flyweight. Lost the WBC minimum weight title against Yuko in 2016. She would fight for the inaugural belt for the WIBA in May the 30th, 2024. This was an 8-round fight, not 10-round, 8-round, against a 4-2-1 fighter named Karnjanawong, who was also from Thailand at 20 years old. Only that woman would turn into a jobber. The scorecards were close, 77-75, two of them 77-74. That's all you have to know. Norj won the champion. Unfortunately, she never kept the belt. She did took on the WBC International Atomweight belt against Camila Zamorano in October that year, and we know Zamorano won the fight. And then in last March, she fought against a South Korean fighter who is now a bum, in my opinion, and lost that fight as well. So that's all you have to know. But you know what's crazy? We have talked about another boxer because on August the 17th, 2024, a woman that formerly fought against Momo Koseki in August of 2014 for the WBC belt, and then had a fight for it again 4 years later out of retirement against Fabiana Richer for that belt, lost as well, came back after she became a WIBA minimum weight champion in October 2019. Retired, but then she fought for the WBC silver Atomweight belt against Norge Guro in March of 2022. And then she lost against Sana Hazuki for that same belt as well in September of 2023. She took on a debut fighter in June, and then 2 months later, she took on against an 8-9 fighter who was also from the country of Taiwan, named Panida. And Denise Castle, I'll be honest, her resume is lousy. Even though the fights she lost against were legit fighters, this was a bummed, so bummed. And for some reason, after all of this craziness in her 10 years of boxing, she fights this woman, knocks her out in round 4 by TKO, and wins the belt. And she vacates it as well and never fights again. 5 wins, 5 knockouts, 2 of her 4 defeats by knockout. That's ridiculous. And by the way, it says that Denise, as of right now, is 54 years old. This woman, last 2 years ago in August, was 52 years old. That's ridiculous. This woman fought when she was in her early 40s when she started her pro debut. Like, her pro debut was back in April the 9th, when she fought in her debut at 42 years old. Like, take that for what you will, but that's pretty ridiculous. Now, luckily, we would never get another title vacancy again after this. When it comes to title fights, things gets a little bit juicy. Because on September the 27th, 2025, Esnidi Rodriguez Olmos would take on against 2-time Atomweight champion that wasted her friggin' time, Mika Iwakawa, in Veracruz, Mexico. And the fight went on like it was a waste of time. Mika didn't even try. All 3 judges had it 190, which makes us wonder, how controversial is this? Yes, Mika was 42 years old and Rodriguez was 26, but that still doesn't make sense. Rodriguez was 5 feet tall. Mika was 5'3", and she was an orthodox fighter. And as for Rodriguez, maybe orthodox. Both Mika was not southpaw, which I would assume that. It does make me question for that basis for some reason. I really can't say that for certain to understand the ridiculous fortitude of that. I started to question that so much. So after that win, and for Olmos becoming champion, she would actually have a cherry pick fight and another dominated 190 score by all judges on December the 27th in Veracruz, in another different venue, against 12-13-3 Bethy Franco. Who is she? I don't care, because we shouldn't. The Colombian woman was 44 years old, also past her prime. She didn't get squat. First title defense, and that's the record for Olmos. She breaks the record. There we go. And look at that. We're about 20 minutes into this podcast, and at this moment, we're just about almost done with this entire series, because I'm starting to question something. Something is not right here. Like, I wish I can even explain this ridiculousness more because it just gets worse. So after all these Japanese females are failing to take on the young 17-year-old minor Mexican who is now 18 years old as WBC Atomweight champion, our former unified champion Iri Matsuda comes into Veracruz in April the 18th against the champion for the WIBA belt. And I watched the footage and found it, and it's like, what was with the scorecards? What was with the beating? Why did, like, again, here's the thing. Iri Matsuda is 5'2" southpaw. That should have been the effective thing for Esnedi to not do crap. And I don't care if I say her name wrong or say Veracruz wrong. This was a complete bullcrapper. Judges, 99-91, 191, 98-92. I just don't know if these wins were legit. And it just gets worse because I heard that in June that they said there was going to be a fight in September or August that Esnedi Rodriguez Olmos was going to take on against the former contender for the WBO fight against Gabrielle Timar, who was Marina Loreto, for the inaugural IBO belt. And the WIBA as well that time, which we're just 2 months away from this. Unfortunately, the box rec information disappeared the rankings. It's all gone. So what happened? I don't know what's going on, and I do question something is fishy because I'm sure some people might not know what's going on behind the scenes. This is a waste of time. It's a waste of time because I really can't understand the fortitude of this. So what about the other belts? The UBO belt has 0 title fights. The WBF World Boxing Federation belt, like the foundation, nothing. So a lot of these belts are not on the line because who cares about these other belts? But again, the WIBA belt is still on the hold as we speak. But considering we're already at this moment and this is the end of the episode here, what's the last 15 minutes I'm going to have to say for this entirety of everything I've just talked about for the Atomweight division? Because this might be the most boredom of an episode I can ever say. Technically, the only thing I can say is this. So, as of recently, Olmos is number 1. Camila Zamorano, who's 18 years old, out of which almost 26 years old, is number 2. An 11-0 Mexican woman named Brenda Garcia is 21 years old. She's ranked number 3. We have 3 Mexican women that are ranked in the top for Atomweight. And these Japanese women from Yamanaka, Iri, Matsuda, Honoka Kano, Nao Ugawa, and Sana Hazuki, these are some decent fighters that had their careers in for the Atomweight for a long time, and they're still in it as we speak. So, and a lot of these other foreign countries are now taken over as we speak. This might pose a threat for Japan that Japanese women are dead in boxing. This is a threat of death to us all. And the thing is, we also have a 19-year-old Japanese woman that goes by the name of Shiori Yotsumoto, and we don't know how her career is going to last. She's 5'1". She has 2 knockouts in her 3 victories. Her last win was in April, the same night where Yamanaka scored her championship win in the IBF again. So at the end of the day, I really can't say much about her other than for her to take her time and wait for the opportunity. But again, I don't think Gabrielle Timar, Isabel Rivera, Camila Zamorano, and Olmos are going to fight in Japan. These Japanese women are going to go to those countries and they're not going to get nothing done. So it just goes to show you this is a huge problematic for everyone here to look forward to. Now, I'm still trying to find information of when the next fight's coming. We have an Argentina fighter named Jennifer Meza fighting a fight in September the 5th, and she's actually the Latino WBO Atomweight Championship, who formerly fought against Sarah Borman in 2024 for the vacant WBO belt in those times. So that's, again, we don't got information on that. We have some Japanese females fighting in other areas, like September the 5th. We have one fight in an atomweight, which doesn't matter. Mao Kamada and Europe. Yeah, I don't care about that anymore. Mao lost her fight against Shiori, and that's it. Yuri is out. Nope. So that's all there. Kaho. Do we know Kaho? We have a fight in Central Gym in Kobe on August the 22nd, but again, there's nothing interesting about that fight. So again, I'm just trying to find new fights and information of what's going on as we speak. But again, I'm still trying to find some interesting fights here. But I do remember there's actually one interesting fight that is happening recently. Ooh. That's cute. I wish that women didn't have tattoos. God, why do women have to ruin their bodies over tattoos? I would marry her. But anyway, we have a 6-0 female in Japan who's ranked number 7 in the minimum weight. Her name is Madoka Wada, and I'm assuming 31 years old, is a 5'4" southpaw fighter. She is fighting to fight for the WBA World Title Eliminator, and when looking it up, she's taking on Emma Nesbitt. And when it said Atomweight, we're assuming this is for the WBA Atomweight Title Eliminator. So technically, if I have to go back to the WBA belt right now, the champion is Isabel Rivero, who is not into her prime as much, and her record doesn't speak for itself as much promising at 38 years old. So if this win does come out perfect, this will be a good win. And Madoka has to earn it because this 12-1-1 fighter named Emma Nesbitt is a 21-year-old fighter, 10 years older than Madoka Wada from Japan. And she has 12 wins, 9 wins by knockout, 1 defeat, a draw. Her last fight was a draw in March, so that might affect off her career a little bit. She was a former WIBA World Flyweight Champion 2025. Her first pro fight was a defeat, so it makes you wonder about that. So Madoka has to earn this one, really, considering Emma is an orthodox fighter, and it seems like southpaw fighters are off the turning point of problematics of not winning. So that right there could bring in a good moneymaker for her to see if they're going to give her money, get to the fight, and see if Mizuki Hiruta can handle herself. I would like to see off the fight. So it's not that anything could go on as much, because we're still trying to find other Japanese females, and I'm still trying to wish luck of other females in boxing. But again, there's barely just a tiny handful of Japanese females that are still undefeated, and some I'm still trying to promote to stay undefeated for a while and see where they can go, because I'm still trying to find some. Again, it's going to be hard for me to try to find out more than I can chew, because again, this is just a start for me to try to find a new boxing match. I'm just trying to see who might be next in line for a new champion. Because like the super flyweight division has, we still have Adelaida Maria Raziz taking on Gina Fuchs for her champion on the 18th as of recently. So it's not like all of that is going to be possible. We're going to get an opportunity when the time comes, but again, the only goal I'm trying to find is, where are we going to get a Japanese woman to become undisputed champion? Again, since Momo Koseki became the only lone champion from 2007. It just seemed like there's going to be a little bit of some disastrous problems in the future, and it's going to be tough when the time comes because something will come awry sooner than later. Because whatever's going to happen, we're going to try to find out sooner than later whether or not any of this stuff will come to play. But again, with only just a handful of minutes left on this episode and everything else paying attention to this, I just want to take some time off. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see when that time comes. Because there's opportunities here or there that something is going to happen. And it might end worse for Japan. It's going to be a disaster. Because, like I said before, and I'm going to say it one more time, it just seems like, do Japanese women have no place in boxing after this entirety of going on? And I said it a few months. Again, it just depends on luck. You just have to be getting the right opportunities. And some of these Japanese women do get the opportunities at the right moment, but they just don't win the fight. And that just kills the career. And we find another fighter and they get their careers killed. We wait for 4 years for every American team to make it to the FIFA World Cup and they still screw it up. And it's a waste of time. It causes huge problems for the sport. And I think that's the problem for us all when it comes to sports. It's a killer, and it's not a healthy environment to be in. So, considering I've already recorded more than 10 episodes this month, and I did say to myself I was going to promise to do like 10 episodes every month after I promised last June, but like, man. And by the way, as I'm editing these videos and releasing them on the third week of this month, I'm already recording other episodes I might release on Saturday and Sunday and get some updates on stuff early. So I might upload another full amount of episodes left, depending on how many more I'm going to record. But considering I can still take some time off and do other stuff to save my gigabytes, because at this moment, we're just going to try to find out what we're going to do. It's pretty tough. It really is. But looking back at it, I can say to myself, there's going to be something going on, but I will say to myself, don't be a quitter. But again, if you have to go to an environment and you know you have to do it and you have no choice, you might as well have to do it. You have to sacrifice your entire life as best you could. I sacrifice it every day. I take myself to the notch all the time, no matter how much it's hateful. This will be that opportunity. We have to wait for it as long as we can when the time comes. Definitely. So anyway, before we end this episode, and with only a few minutes left on the episode, at this moment, that's all I have to say. That's about it. But you know what? While we're at it, how about I try to look up the FIFA World Cup if we have any information on France taking on Morocco as we speak. Just seems like we... Okay, what's the information on FIFA.com? Okay. Oh, great. After 63 minutes of competition, at the 60-minute mark just a few minutes ago, France's star player Kylian Mbappe scored their first goal against Morocco. At this moment, I'm just accepting the defeat. So we're already now 64 minutes into this game right now, and they only have another 25 or so minutes, 26 minutes, or depending on how many penalty minutes they have left on time after the 90-minute mark. At this moment, Morocco's done. France got them before in 2 games, and again, at least Morocco's fighting hard as they can. What is their stats? How many Is there any rankings right now? How many kicks or goals or goal shots have they made? How many shots have people made in a goal? It seems like they must have had something here. I'm trying to find some attacking possession. 50% on France, six in contests. Right, great. Total goals, one. How many goal opportunities have they kicked in? Attempt of goals. Wow. 16 friggin' attempts by France and only 2 for Morocco. Dude. And outside penalty area kicks, they only did 7-2 France. And France's inside the penalty area are 9 and Morocco 0. And off target. So they made out 16 targets. Okay, so 7 of those kicks by France were off target. 1 of them was from Morocco, of course. And 5 of them. Wow, 5 of the kicks were on target for France. Damn, dude, France are just and look at here, unbelievable. As I just clicked on it right now, I just refreshed it right now, and right now at the 66-minute mark, another team guy named Ousmane just scored goal number 2 for France. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching this episode. Thanks for watching the Gloat podcast. Congratulations. All the African countries are in hell. All the North American countries are in hell. All of Asia countries are in hell. And Argentina are the only South Americans, so they might be closer to them as well. So congratulations. Europe are number 1. That is great. Really great. Just makes you wonder where the odds of France and Argentina making it to the semifinals, or if both of them make it to the finals. Is that great? Anyway, guys, that was a great fun moment. I just had to click at it at the right moment, and that's what we get. Wow. Morocco are a complete wait. Morocco defeats Canada 3-0, and now they're getting outboxed 2-0. There is no God. There's never going to be a God in soccer. There will never be a God in soccer. Never. And that's the truth. That's just stuff will never come. It never will. It just makes you just more devastatingly dangerous by the minute. All right, guys. Well, thanks. Boy, what am I supposed to say in the last minute of this episode right now? Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, boy. You know what? Now I just feel like going to the beach right now in a couple of days. After I'm done editing these videos and recording off, and then just to let you viewers know one thing. As you're watching this video, I'm recording a bunch of videos. I'm already going to record the heavyweight fights and other stuff for Saturday and Sunday, and I'm going to upload them for weeks later. So I'm going to put myself a lot of time uploading multiple episodes for the entirety of this week. This might take like 15 episodes or even 20 episodes a month. So something tells me I might make it to upload maybe 100 episodes by the end of this year. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm actually thinking of going to my 70th episode. I actually am learning art styles for stuff to learn art to do thumbnail videos. I'm still going to do thumbnails of just dark photos and title videos for this entire channel for maybe just a couple more months just to get used to it. I'm just going to take some time off. I think by the end of July, I'm going to take a break from this and do stuff while school vacation is still around. But I'm still being outside doing stuff, making a living, making money, and doing other stuff to get my career going as best I could. You people think I'm a quitter. I never will be. And that is all I have to say for the undisputed Atomweight Championship. Never be a quitter. Never!